Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another information session, this time for Loyalist College's Accessibility Services. My name is Ben Quaife, and I'm joining you from the Loyalist Recruitment Team. Delighted to welcome in Accessibility Team member Bev Danyes. Bev, can you share a little bit about your professional background and what you do with the Loyalist College to our audience?
Absolutely, Ben. Thanks. I've been with Loyalist College for almost 23 years now, initially as an instructor for 2 hospitality programs, but for the last 16 years, I've been with Accessibility Services. I've earned my BA in psychology, and I have developed a great interest in learning cognition. I have also a post-grad learning disability specialist certificate. I am the college rep for a provincial organization called College Committee on Disability Issues, and I belong to the Learning Specialists Association of Canada, which consists of colleges and universities right across the country. My role is to provide academic supports to students who have a diagnosed disability and work closely with them to ensure they have the necessary accommodations to optimize their learning ability.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that information with us, Bev. And we wanted to dive into this info session just to give our audience an overview of the accessibility services that Loyalist College offers. Can you share some of that with us?
Absolutely. Supports are provided to students on a voluntary basis. So if you've received supports in the past from either high school or other post-secondary institutions, it's voluntary. Our services are voluntary. You don't have to be registered with us. Students choose to wait and see sometimes, or others want to register with us immediately. We're ready to work with our students whenever they're ready to work with us. This could mean during their first semester, or it could be their last semester. One of the most important supports that we provide is creating an individualized service plan, an ISP, which is much like an IEP. And accommodations can include extra test time, note-taking services, reduced course load, assistive technology. We also provide other supports, including referrals to other departments here at Loyalist College, including counseling, tutoring, health center, career center, and our assistive technologist. We provide academic support such as learning strategies, so we can better prepare you to write tests, to study for tests, for time management, advocacy skills. Sometimes students have not developed these skills very well before coming to Loyalist. We like to support them, so we're here to coach and guide them as needed. Our department also encourages transition planning. We find it's really important for students to understand what their role is in post-secondary. So we invite prospective students, family members, support workers, etc., to meet with us prior to applying for or attending Loyalist. At times, our open houses are the first point of contact, but since we're changing the way we're communicating, I encourage you to reach out and schedule a phone appointment instead.
Excellent overview, and that is great to know that they can reach out to you. We're providing some alternative ways of connecting nowadays. So great information there. And I was hoping that you could describe a little bit about the necessary documents that students have to have.
Yes, so we hope during their first appointment that when we meet with new students that they provide appropriate documentation. So, and what does that mean? We are looking at using a 3-prong approach to identifying the necessary accommodations. So we like to have a better understanding of what their learning issues are. We support students who have learning disabilities, attention deficit disorders, autism spectrum disorders, mental health concerns. Students are deaf or hard of hearing, blind or low vision, brain injuries, mobility concerns, or medical conditions that impact their learning. So it's really important for us to have the required documentation so we can determine what's the best course of action in order to support students. So the 3-prong approach includes appropriate documentation, which includes a psychoeducational assessment, a neurological assessment, an OT assessment, medical documentation. And we also discuss academic concerns with the student once they start classes and understand the expectations of each of the programs. So it's important to understand the functional limitations So what is affecting the student's ability to best perform? So having the most appropriate documentation is important. So we strongly encourage, if you're just finishing high school, to make sure that you get the documents, copies of it before you leave. Having an IEP is helpful, but we prefer the assessments that are completed by a psychologist. These assessments, I like to refer to them as roadmaps of your brain. So it makes it so we can interpret it and make sure that we understand how your brain functions and what type of supports and accommodations you need.
Excellent. Is there any other documents that are required?
Yes, so if a student is applying for OSAP, they will need to have a disability verification form completed by a clinician who works within their scope of practice to access certain funding. It gets quite complicated. We encourage students and their family members to reach out to us and to the financial aid office. We just want to make it clear for students as they're applying for OSAP that the clinician that signs this verification form needs to work within their scope of practice. So for example, if a student has a learning disability, it's appropriate for a psychologist to complete that form and not a chiropractor. So we encourage you to reach out to us to talk to us about this form, but also talk to our financial aid office at Loyalist College.
What if a student doesn't have the necessary documents?
We're happy to work with them still, Ben, and if necessary, we will refer them for an assessment. If the student has not been diagnosed, we can work with them to determine if a referral is needed to receive a clear understanding of any barriers that affect their learning. So we still encourage students to come and meet with us and book an appointment to discuss the options.
Excellent. And how do students make arrangements to ensure their academic supports and accommodations can be met before they begin their studies at Loyalist?
Yeah, we encourage all students to connect with us prior to the start of classes. So we're still available during our regular business hours. You can contact us and book an appointment through our Student Success Coordinator to arrange a phone meeting by calling into the college and extension 2519, or you can email us at studentsuccess@loyalistcollege.com. But I also encourage students to visit our website. There's lots of great information about our services available online, but there's also an online application that will be sent directly to Student Success.
Thanks again, Bev, for joining us for this information session.
Thank you, Ben, for having me.